India is one big hodgepodge, all right? So whatever you may do, you will represent one segment of the people. Nehruvian policies did not reflect a certain segment of people. I think Narasimha Rao's 5 years was significant. One thing is, he did a tremendous job to maintain the sovereignty of the nation. We've not been really looking at what kind of government we want. It's already decided who should be leading this nation because of certain privileges certain people have. I wouldn't like to call that as democratic governments because it's predetermined, all right?
With lot of hesitation, I'll ask you this. If you want, you can answer, otherwise you skip it. You may have seen the history of 60 years of post-independence phase. Which government do you think reflects the true spirit of India? I mean, I'm asking you because Modi government is somewhat different from Nehruvian government. So there is a debate that this is a model which is entirely different from the past models. Do you agree with that?
India is one big hodgepodge, all right? So whatever you may do, you will represent one segment of the people. So you cannot say Nehruvian policies did not reflect a certain segment of people. But did it reflect the majority segment of the population? I don't think so. It was a little too up in the air kind of philosophy and attitude towards life, but it did reflect a certain segment of society. Maybe at that time people thought it is that segment of society which is significant, and they represented that. Instead of saying which is the most Indian government, I would say which has been the most effective governments. I think Narasimha Rao's 5 years was significant. One thing is, he did a tremendous job to maintain the sovereignty of the nation. Otherwise, we would have lost parts of this nation. And the economic unleashing of India's economic power started from there. Well, Lal Bahadur Shastri tried something, but it was too brief. Atal Bihari Vajpayee brought more balance, kind of made what was considered right-wing, making people understand it's quite central.
Yeah, right.
That is his contribution. Otherwise, there is also been… we've not been really looking at what kind of government we want. It's already decided who should be leading this nation because of certain privileges certain people have. I wouldn't like to call that as democratic governments because it's predetermined, all right? Leadership by election is democracy. Leadership by selection is not democracy in my understanding of life. I have nothing against anybody. As long as they're doing something good for the nation, I have nothing. In every government, something has been done. The question is only this: India as a nation, India as a people have had such a bad time in the last 150 years, or 200 years rather. Well, that was under occupation, but we thought once freedom came, something fantastic will happen. Well, we've done some things, we've come a long way, it's not that we have not come a long way. But for the cultural background we have and the intellectual strength we have and the skills that we have in this country, we have not done justice to that in 70 years' time. because we have not managed to involve the majority population into economic activity, into education, into variety of things, because somewhere we have seen the divisions as a capital. Divisions of religion, divisions of communities, divisions of castes and creeds. Political leaders have seen it as a kind of a capital. Because of that, it's not been a widespread thing. This means 2 generations of people again went without true emancipation happening in the country. This is not about which government, which party, I don't care which government, which party, as long as people are addressing, the leaders are addressing the 1.3 billion people who had such a bad deal and still half of them have a terribly bad deal. We have the highest level of malnourishment in the country, in the world. This has to go. For me, development does not mean tall buildings in the city, industry going on, this, that. Whether everybody drives a car or not, everybody lives in a air-conditioned home or not, that's not the issue. For a human being, nourishment is most fundamental. If that's not happening, it's not acceptable for me, that nobody can say we are a successful government when we cannot nourish the people of this nation. So there are many factors to this, it's not as simple as possible, tomorrow morning you can all serve them food. It is economic activity which has to be multifaceted. And above all, when we know that 60 to 70% of the people are in rural India, involved in agriculture, that should have been our first priority to energize that. Somewhere we have lost track of that and we have not managed to settle our disputes and struggles with what's around us. Because of this, we are investing heavily into defense. There are 2 ways to handle enmity. One thing is to kill the enemy, another way is to kill the enmity. One of these things we must do. If we if we don't have the wisdom to kill enmity, we must have the courage and strength to kill the enemy. If both doesn't happen, then we will bleed, then we will not be able to focus on our well-being. Eternally we will be talking and using it as a capital continuously. This used to be, even in the news media it used to be like this. Anything happens foreign hand. We know which is the foreign hand, always endlessly foreign hand. Yes, there have been foreign hands, but I'm saying in every nation there are foreign hands trying to tickle you, all right?
You're right.
You need to handle that. You cannot complain about it. A government cannot complain about foreign hand. It's government's business to handle foreign hand, isn't it?
Absolutely. Sadhguru, just wanted to ask you, if you were to rate Modi government, where will you rate him? In terms of, if I give you 10 rating, so where will you place him?
Well, there are various parameters. I think putting all of them into one basket would be very difficult to rate. See, in terms of security of the nation, I think a good job has been done. Well, there's a whole lot of people think it is not so, that's another matter, but at least we know this, that in all the major cities in this country, at least in the metropolis in this country, there's not been the fear of bomb blasts, which was becoming endemic at one
Yeah,
time.
I've seen your statement about it and…
A huge reaction,
huge
saying it's
reaction
not
to
true.
that, it's not true, yeah.
It's not true. Because they're even listing out explosions that happen in granite quarries.
Yeah, and those areas which are insurgent
See,
areas.
that region where it's, the insurgent infested areas of northeast and Kashmir, of course, and the border, there's been lot of friction, particularly on the border. But that is a good thing. That means we're engaging the people who are trying to enter the country and disrupt things. If you did not engage them, there would be no firing on the border, they could come and go as they wished, and they were entering cities and doing what they want and they go back. So that has been handled. Security-wise, I would say the rating is good. Economy-wise, which is everybody's concern, See, certain bold steps have been taken, unpopular steps, politically not wise steps, but economically good. Well, our tax revenues have increased, maybe not as much as we wanted, but the base has increased, at least more number of people are paying taxes, without which a nation cannot go forward. We are still in the hangover of British era, where if we did not pay tax, we were heroes. A man who did not pay tax during British era was a hero, because they set up only tax collecting mechanisms. Even today, unfortunately, we have not changed the designation of the district administrators. In Tamil Nadu, we still call them collectors.
All over India it is called DC.
Really?
Yeah, all over India.
District collector,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Oh, I thought district commissioner.
No. Deputy Commissioner
Deputy
and…
Commissioner.
Yeah, DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why are they collectors? Are they only tax collectors? They are no more collecting tax.
No.
So this comes from an era where they were only collecting tax. Sometimes people tell me, the tax was… for agriculture, tax was 100% really. So at that time, if I did not pay tax, I was heroic. That hangover is still there in us. If I don't pay tax, I feel good. We have forgotten, or we have not been reminded, this is our nation, we have to pay tax, this country has to go forward, means all of us have to contribute in some way. So this has not gone across, so that point has gone across well. I think more people are playing willingly today than before. Infrastructure-wise, just now I've been driving across India, I find the roads are fantastic. Just now, after 30 years, I had not done this in 30 years, I rode from Bangalore to here on a motorcycle.
Oh my God.
over 440 kilometers.
Acha, how long did it take?
We did in about 5.5 hours or so.
Straight.
Yeah, we stopped in one or two places for
My
breakfast
God.
and things.
You drove yourself?
Yes. This is more than 30 years I had not done it, but I rode. Roads are just absolutely fantastic. Can we accredit all that to Narendra Modi? I don't think so. But I think infrastructure building has been on a supercharge, which is good. I just visited some ports and things, phenomenal development on Indian ports, the way it is happening. It's good, all these things. Infrastructure is happening because that is fundamental for the nation. Do we have infrastructure, enough infrastructure for 1.3 billion people? No. But it has to happen in some stages. I only wish it could be further released for allowing private agencies to build infrastructure. We've still not taken such bold steps. We are still a little afraid of going 100% market economy. Somewhere in our head, still we have this welfare state idea. We take one step, when we find some difficulties, we step back into socialism
Social.
again and again. So we must make up our mind. If we want to succeed, we must make up our mind, which road are we taking? I am not a fan of capitalism, but that's the only thing which has succeeded in the world. Something that's driven by greed is a success. Do I approve it 100%? Not in principle, but practically, yes, 100%, because nothing else has worked. Obviously, humanity is not in that kind of state where they will share what they have with each other and live. Now, ashram is a shared thing, okay? Here nobody takes what they think is theirs, everybody takes only what they want or what they need. So this is a different affair. But in the nation, in the world, it has been proved that it is only individual enterprise which will ultimately take it on. But that individual enterprise, I feel, is still very crippled in India. Well, one positive thing is there are many more startups today in India than ever before. If you go to major, business institutions in the country, where everybody was looking for employment, today young people are talking about startups and startups, a whole lot of people, which is a significant number, which is a very good sign. That means enterprise has been keyed up. It is not yet the way it should be, but it is moving in that direction. So economy-wise, we are the fastest growing economy, so we cannot complain. But is it fast enough for this 500, 600 million people who are not eating properly? No, it needs to be more widespread. This speed of economy largely is centered around few industries, but I feel the speed of economy should be driven by agriculture, which is very easy to do and most practical thing to do. Because doubling the farmer's income, which is something the Prime Minister has
Prime
been
Minister
talking,
has, yeah, promised.
it's a good idea, but I'm saying you can multiply farmer's income, which we have proved in small scale. The only problem with agriculture right now, there are many problems, but the main problem is scale. There is no scale. Everybody is farming 2 acres, 5 acres, whatever. The average acreage is about 1 hectare, that is over 2.25 acres or something. You cannot scratch 2.25 acres and make it into a commercial success, okay? It is simply not practical. You need scale, so we have come out with various aspects as to how we can scale this without changing ownership, how we can scale agriculture. These things we are pushing for. As a part of this, we got a relief for the Farmers Producers Organization, which is a very positive thing. In this country, the rules were like this: if all of us here are farmers and we are doing farming separately in a desperate way in our own 2-acre, 5-acre land, no tax. But if all of us get together and farm together, and now we have scaled up, there is a 30% income tax.
Straight away 30%?
Yes, income tax, whatever percentage, but up to 30%. So, we appealed to the government and government responded, and now they removed tax up to 100 crores turnover. But I'm saying, why 100 crores? The most significant problem in the country right now is farmers' distress. This distress, the root of this distress is lack of scale. If we scale up, and let's say our turnover, the Farmers Producers Organization's turnover goes into thousands of crores, why should they be taxed? The moment you tax it, they will not come together. You are making sure there is no scale. One really frightening thing about the nation is, if you make a survey today, we have made some kind of random surveys, if you ask any farmer, how many of them want their children to go into farming, it's less than 2%.
Absolutely right.
So in 25 years' time, when this generation passes, you will lose ability to grow food in this country. The skills that you gained over 1,000 years or many thousands of years, many millennia, they say in this part of the country, there has been a history of agriculture for over 12,000 years in Tamil Nadu. We have been ploughing the same land and living on the same land for over 12,000 years. But today we are going to lose agricultural skills which we gathered for so long. It is not a small thing to convert mud into food. You may be a MBA, you may be an engineer, I'll give you 10 acres of land, grow 5 different kinds of crops for me, let me see. A farmer may look illiterate, but he has intrinsic knowledge about how to grow a crop. It's not a small thing. If these skills are going to go away completely if we don't make farming a very lucrative process, in that direction, we should have done much more. Maybe there are various political things because somebody is offering farm waiver. See, a whole movement happened during 70s. During Indira Gandhi's time, she nationalized the banks. One main reason was the rural community should get finance. Otherwise, they were all in the hands of the money lenders.
It didn't happen that way.
It happened, it did happen, you cannot say it did not happen. Banks started opening up only because they were nationalized, they were not fully profit-oriented, but they were making their profits marginally, but they were also financing the village and the rural population. Now today, these farm waivers, farm loan waivers, you are again pushing the farmer back into the moneylender's hands. Tell me, if it is fixed, whatever loan I give you, you're not going to pay me back, am I going to give you loan once again and once again? So you are pushing that back, that whole movement, it's not a small thing. Nationalizing banks and moving the banks into a place that they will finance not only where it's super lucrative, they will finance in areas which is socially significant. Now that you're destroying by saying, we will waive your loan, whichever party does it, I'm saying,
Every state government has been doing it.
Huh?
Every state government.
That's what I'm saying. So the logic is, but farmers are in such bad state. If they're in such a bad state, give them free seed, free fertilizer, free something else, all right? goes towards productivity. Free loan is not a good thing because it'll change the whole culture. It is not only with the bank, even privately, now it'll come to this, if I give you money, you won't give it back because that is a culture. I don't have to give it back. Only thing is you 10 guys have to get together. 10 people who have taken loan from me have to get together and scream and shout or burn a bus. Burning a bus is a favorite pastime for a lot of people. It's a statement. So you 10 guys get together, burn a bus, scream and yell, so my money won't come back. So I will go into something else, I will definitely not lend money anymore, isn't it? So all the banks will move into this place because otherwise you'll have to just give away government's money, that's all. If you want money to multiply, it needs to be invested, not given away. You invest in the crops, I'm saying. You invest in the form of seed and you invest in the in the form of marketing facilities and many other ways you can invest. And above all, this must happen. This one thing we were pushing for this and to some extent government is relaxed. We are trying to push at least 30% of the farmers in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka towards agroforestry because we have proven models.
Is it your initiative?
Here in this place, we are pushing it big time.
Okay.
And also it's part of the Rally for Rivers
Rally for Rivers,
recommendations.
okay.
So it is going across the nation now. Because this was always so in the village, everybody had some trees in the land. I remember this so well because I was living on farms and farming at that time. I don't want to mention the companies because it just came. The fertilizer companies at that time, 40–45 years ago, came actually educating the farmer, you should not have trees in your land. Because if you apply fertilizer to your crop and you have a tree, the tree has a more aggressive root system, it will take away all the fertilizer, so you must cut the trees. I know a massive felling of trees happened all across because it wastes fertilizer. Now, fertilizer companies grew, but the farmers are still worse off because the only way actually to re-fertilize or to revitalize the soil is the leaves from the trees and the animal waste. Without this, organic content won't go into the soil. What is soil will be turned into sand in a matter of 30 to 40 years of farming without organic content going into the soil. That's where we are heading. About 25% of India's land will not be cultivable by 2030 or max 35. So we are turning a desert. If I open my mouth out of agriculture, immediately somebody will say, we will go to Israel and learn this and that. I said, in Israel, they're converting a desert into cultivable land. You are converting a very fertile land into a desert. These two things are two different things.
I'm really amazed at your understanding of economics and this administration, but…
See, now for the farmers, one thing you have to do, this is not going to make an immediate change, but in spirit it'll make a change. Whatever I grow on my land, I can do whatever I want with it, okay? I will take a bag of rice and sell it in North Pole, where it is as good as gold, all right? You leave it to me. Why are you trying to stop me? If you are running an electronic industry, you can take your product wherever you want. Just because I'm a farmer, I can't take my product where I want. Why? You say I can't transport my rice to Kerala or to Karnataka or somewhere else, I have to sell it right here, you will catch me. You know what they're doing? Do you know how desperate we're driving people? They're taking rice and spreading it across the railway compartment, loose, in the dirt, so that nobody will catch them. And at the end of the journey, they will sweep all that, put it in a bag and put it out. Before the railway station comes, when the train slows down, they'll throw the sacks down and somebody will pick it up. This is how smuggling happens. Why are we making people so desperate? What I grow on my land, let me be free to sell it wherever I want. Your problem is, middle class will have inflation, let them have. You're eating the cheapest possible food in the world. For 25 rupees you can eat a meal in this country, okay? 25 to 30 rupees in a hotel, a limited meal you can eat. It is 30 cents. For 30 cents, in which country can you get a meal? Where can you get a meal, I'm asking?
Right.
So the people who are growing food are dying, not in one or two, 300,000 farmers are supposed to have committed suicide in the last 10 years. And now we are controlling the price of the food, what for? I'm saying there has to be some sense. So I'm saying consistently we have been against them. Maybe innocuously, unknowingly, but we have been consistently against them. So I'm saying, right now this law is there in the country, I think some changes have happened, I'm not conversant with that. But as per the old law, anywhere below 8 feet in your land if you dig, whatever is below 8 feet belongs to the government. Only 8 feet of soil belongs to me. This is all British laws, okay? Occupiers' laws. Unless I find some civilizationally significant stuff, I hit a Mohenjo-daro or Harappa, then government can come. If I hit gold, oil, water belongs to the government, do you know this? If most farmers do not know this, you tell them there'll be a revolution tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, the water below 8 feet belongs to the government. Everything that you get below 8 feet or something belongs to the government. Some changes have been made, but I'm saying, when I own the land, whatever is in this land must be mine. Whatever I grow on this land should be mine. Right now, if you grow a tree, if I want to cut it, I have to go and beg the local forest officer. So why will I grow a tree? So, well, 43,000 crores worth of timber you're importing, totally timber-related products are going up to 1 lakh crores, but you won't allow me to grow a tree. Who will grow a tree in this country if you don't allow him to use it as he wants? So these are all things which have to change immediately, I'm saying.
This water has something to do with depletion of water in underground?
No. It is just a question of wealth. They did not think about water. They said anything below 8 feet if you go and dig, if you find granite, if you find gold, if you find oil, whatever you may find, it belongs to the state. So why do I own the land? Just for 8 feet of soil, is it? I'm saying these things have to be relaxed. If it is very difficult for you to multiply India's economy by going industry, that also needs to happen on another parallel. But it is very, very easy if you do the right things with the farm community, it is easy to double this. If you double this, 60% of the people's income, if it doubles, India's economy will boom, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in that direction, see, we have taken half-hearted steps.
It is not very easy. I mean, if you see that they have effected some change in Land Acquisition Act, but it was withdrawn later. So…
See, it is all becoming politically difficult, all right?
Politically difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Political difficulties politicians should handle, I won't get into that, political difficulty. I am saying, in terms of what is needed for the nation, Land Acquisition Act was a very good thing. For business to happen, it's another matter. One thing is, you cannot enforce contracts in this country fully because judiciary is so slow. There are various aspects. Any dispute comes, if I go to the court, my life is finished.
It
All
will
right?
it will take years to…
25
resolve.
years,
Yeah.
not 1 or 2 years.
And most expensive.
That is another part. But I'm saying, especially business-related things, we must set a deadline, within 3 months it must be settled, max. It's not a murder or crime or something of that kind. You can take your time for that. That guy will enjoy the time outside, all right? But business-related things must settle within 3 months, max. What is there to examine, re-examine, this… Settle something, it's a question of money. The sooner the dispute is settled, even if it's against me, I will benefit, I'm released. Even if the judgment is somewhat against me, I will still benefit because my dispute is over, I will continue with my business. But this is not happening. You will see right now, if you go near any major police station in India, you will see a whole lot of cars in different states of ruin. You understand? Why? this waste, it's a waste for the nation, isn't it? Not just for the person who owns it, it's waste for the nation. Why this happens? Because a little one scratch on the car, somebody complained, little accident, something, you did not kill anybody, something happened, it just goes stay there. Court case till it's over, they won't release your vehicle. Endlessly it goes on. I may not be 100% right on this, there are many aspects to this. Not to aim at any one thing, you want economy to speed up. The best area to focus is farm, not by waving this and that, but by supporting in a big way. And not by taking the entire nation. See, this is a problem in our country. If you take one region, others will complain. Like you did special economic zones for industry and business, you need to do special farm zones where farm will boom, all right? First thing is remove all restrictions, where I must sell my product, how I should sell my product, just remove this.
Movement of agriculture.
Movement. I can move it within the country, I can move it outside the country. It may take some time for the farmer to take benefit of this, but inevitably it will happen. Above all, right now, scale is the most important thing. In this, we have tried cooperative societies, it worked well for some time, then all kinds of people got into cooperative societies and it became a political kind of process. Now FPO is a good model, because only farmers can be on the board, nobody else. So this is a good model, this has to be enhanced and made really big. If we set up a few large farmer producers organizations, we are looking at 100 to 10,000 to 25,000 farmers coming together, because if you create the scale, rest of the problems will get sorted out by itself. Government cannot come and solve every individual's problem.
Right.
So farm sector, I wish there was more focus. And the larger business, as I said, we are the fastest growing economy, so we are not supposed to complain, but we must understand United States is growing at 4.2%. A $14 trillion economy is growing at 4.2%. We are good, we are what? 4 trillion now, eh? 5 trillion. No,
I
we
think
want to
less, I think.
we want to become 5 trillion, we are some 2.7 trillion or something.
around 3.
But still we are the 5th largest economy in the world, which is a good thing, but not good enough for 1.3 billion people. I'm not trying to depreciate everything. It is fantastic, the few steps that we have taken. But this attitude that we have in the nation, that we have a political thing going on for the full 5 years, this damn thing has to stop. You do the political thing for the last 3 months before the election. Full 5 years, it's looking like that. I was the first one to suggest there must be only one election in 5 years. I said if it's necessary till India reaches, let us say, a certain level of economy, please make the election once in 8 years. I know all the political parties are going to get me for this, but I'm saying, is it about the nation or is it about the party? You must make up your mind, isn't it?